Welcome to Just Asia, AHRC TV's weekly human rights program. These are the headlines. 2 Indian youth lynched in Assam. Caste discrimination continues in Nepal despite legislation. Torture cases widespread in Indonesia 20 years after UNCAD ratification. Right Livelihood Award Foundation awarded ECOSOC status. Urgent appeals from Indonesia and the Philippines. Welcome to AHRC TV's Just Asia. I'm Alexandra. This week, Just Asia begins with India, where 2 young boys were lynched on the suspicion of being child abductors. Nilopto Das and Abhijit Nath were artists based in Goa, who had come to Assam to celebrate the Bohag Bihu festival and also do some sightseeing. A mob stopped their SUV at night, believing a child to be in the car, filled by various rumors during the rounds on social media regarding child abductors. The 2 youths' repeated entries of innocent fell on deaf ears, and they were beaten to death. Earlier in May, a 65-year-old tourist was lynched to death in Tamil Nadu, also on suspicion of being a child kidnapper. The increase in lynching seen in India, as well as the abundance of false news and rumors online, reflect a failure in India's criminal justice system. More than 6 years after Nepal enacted the Caste Based Discrimination and Untouchability, Offence and Punishment Act of 2011, the law is hardly implemented, and caste-based discrimination continues in different parts of the country. Nepal has been declared as an untouchability-free state, while the Caste Based Discrimination Act provides punishment and compensation to victims. Even the National Dalit Commission was established in March 2002 to strengthen protection for and promote the rights of Dalits. Despite all this, Nepal's Dalit community remains vulnerable and their human rights grim. In this context, the institution of informing people about the law, creating awareness on human rights, and helping survivors in the incidents of caste-based discrimination assess justice mechanism is essential. Just Asia speaks to Mr. Rem Bahadur Bishwokarma, Chairperson of the Jagaran Media Center, regarding the situation of the Dalits, as well as the post-constitution period and the question of implementation of the Caste Based Discrimination Act.
Now, Dalit situation is not so good, not so bad. We are in between position. So, one hand we have like new constitutional, and then there's so many law, and then we are in the new political situation. But in the second hand, we have the same social position. I mean, what was the before, and till now we have same the situation, social situation, and then Dalit, we are suffering or facing the same things before and now. So, but we have very 2 sides, but just now we have a new constitutional providing the various like a right of Dalit, but we are in the practice. So, but it is difficult to how we can implement the right of Dalit to the Dalit. So, if you are see the situation of Dalit every day, in every hour, every month we are looking at the Dalit human rights violation cases. So, it's a very small thing within the home, within the society, within the temple, hotel, school, everywhere. Same situation we are suffering, and same situation we are looking in everywhere. Even in the Kathmandu level, even our MPs, parliamentary member, and then some journalists, even the higher level Dalit human rights activists, even they are not getting the rental as a rental room in the Kathmandu. So, even surrounding the Kathmandu, we are looking the Dalit human rights violation cases in the everywhere. So, in the village level also, we have every day in the everywhere, in the water taps, in the schools, everywhere. So, that's why if you compare to the situation, one hand is good. That's why I told. But the second hand, we are in the same position. That's why half position. Okay, now we have a new constitutional, and the new constitutional giving like Dalit fund like right, like fundamental right. Even we are getting from the new constitution. But this is not on the new. If you look our the previous our Untouchability Act, it is very important and it is very role model act for the Dalit community. But if in the law and policy and any act is not working on self. But what is our societal, our bureaucracy, our the society, our leaders, our the people's attitude and behavior is a different thing. So if we have a positive people, if we have the good attitude people, they can implement, they can use the law, and then we can feel justice. Otherwise, if on one hand we have a good act, law and constitution, but people's implementer the attitude, behavior, if there is the opposite position, so we cannot get justice from there. We will not feel we have good constitutional or we have good act, we have a good other laws. So okay, that's why if you look at the situation, so we have I'm feeling it's very difficult to implement the new constitutional law and Untouchability Act and other laws, because most of the people from the high caste people, they are leading every institution like police, army, even judiciary, even media, and everywhere, even parliament and in a minister, everywhere they are leading the same attitude, same behavior, same thought and same caste, same religious, the same people are leading everywhere. That's why I don't think so we'll get properly justice. So that's why if there is our participation, if there is our justice, if there is our policy, if there is our leader from Dalit community in everywhere, of course they will try to implement the law. Otherwise, yes, okay, because of our social and political all the movement, we are getting the new constitution and other things, okay, but implementation part and realization of feeling part is different thing. So people can tell, oh, we have good constitution and we have good policy for Dalit, just orally they can tell, practically that will be very difficult to feel the justice, and then okay, they can feel okay, I'm getting human rights. That's why but now people are dividing. Now before some people was very positive on the Dalit issue and the social inclusion. Now most of the people, the larger people, increasing against of the inclusion, against of the marginalized people. That's why I think our future situation is not so very good for the Dalit will get real justice and feel human right.
Moving to Indonesia, the Asian Human Rights Commission has documented numerous cases of torture and ill treatment conducted by the police over the past year. Even after 20 years of having ratified the International Convention Against Torture and other cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatment or punishment, torture remains widespread in the country. Until today, the Indonesian police are still the most frequent perpetrator of torture. This is linked to the fact that the police deal with the public the most. Aside from law enforcement, the police also oversee public order and security, issuing of driving licenses, dealing with terrorism, conducting vehicles and motorcycle safety operations at all levels. However, there is no proper oversight mechanism for the police. It is thus not surprising that the police abuse of power is high, compared to other institutions such as the military or prison guards. Torture is primarily committed to obtain confessions from suspects or even witnesses. Police investigators still consider forced confessions will make the investigation process easier. Despite this not being in line with the Indonesian Criminal Procedure Code, ratification of the Torture Convention has not brought the necessary regulations and accountability to investigate and prosecute complaints of torture. Indonesian law merely recognizes torture as maltreatment. The gaining of ECOSOC status with the United Nations by the Right Livelihood Award Foundation is a significant advance made in the Foundation's pursuit of advocacy on issues of human rights, peace, and the overall well-being of humanity, said Basil Fernando, Director of Policy and Program Development at the AHRC. Right Livelihood Award laureates around the world have been working on various human rights issues on a daily basis, resulting in a cumulative amount of work. According to Mr. Fernando, the ECOSOC Forum will provide the laureates opportunities to participate in the activities of the UN forums and influence the extent of their work. Finally, the Urgent Appeals Weekly features 2 cases from Indonesia and the Philippines. In Indonesia's West Papua province, there has been a land dispute between the Bintuni Agro Prima Perkasa Company and the Mpur tribe in Tambrau Regency. The company did not inform or seek consent of the local tribe regarding its project on their customary land, and the tribe now fears a negative impact to their environment and livelihood. In the Philippines, 4 activists were wrongfully arrested in 3 separate cases. In the first case, a human rights defender was denied her right to call her family and lawyer to inform of her arrest. In the second case, indigenous peasants were tortured and forced to admit they were rebels. And in the third case, a trade union organizer was abducted and found out later that it was an arrest. That is all for this episode of Just Asia. For more on this and other issues, please visit www.humanrights.asia or www.arc.asia/justasia. Thank you for watching and see you next week.